So this is a joint, and honestly I've heard it called a lot of names. Castle joint, Korean fist tenon, Japanese locking mortise and tenon joint. But this is a joint that Sam Maloof used in a lot of his furniture. It's been used for thousands of years in Korean timber framing, in Japanese furniture. And the reason is it's just so incredibly strong. It's pretty easy to do. Layout is absolutely key, and just taking your time and fitting things together. But all in all, this took me about an hour to cut with filming, so it's really not that difficult of a joint. Let me show you how we get it done. So our first step in making this joint is preparing the stock. Now, it's really important that all of your pieces are square and the same. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna joint plane these and get them down to, I'm gonna aim for 2 inches by 2 inches. We might be a little bit under. One thing I suggest is that your number is easily divisible by 3. Just make your life a little bit easier. A lot of this is gonna be measuring third, third, third. So we're gonna head on over to the jointer and get started. So now that our stock is prepared, everything's square, it's all the same size, we need to do our layout. Now, you could go about this several different ways, but let me show you my plan of attack on this. For me, I think the way I'm going to attack this is I'm going to start by cutting my main piece and then my mating pieces second. That way I can get these to fit to this. The least important part is the half lap between these two joints. That can be kind of loose because when this comes in and locks in, it's going to lock everything together. So ensuring that all of these cuts are square and precise, this joint is going to come out square and really, really strong. So I'm going to start by cutting these out here on the table saw. Let me show you how I go about doing that. The layout is ultra important. So this is 2 inches. We need essentially a third of 2 inches, a third of 2 inches. We have to make sure that we stay on the right sides of our lines here. So we're going to go ahead and set up a little system here with the CROSSCUT SLED to do that and making sure everything's square. So here we go. Okay, so on these, you're gonna know whether you're right on the money if these are essentially perfect squares. You can have a little teeny bit of play, but you wanna just verify that everything's all good to go. Okay, now that we've got our lines cut for our tenons, we're gonna have to clear out this waste. And I'm gonna do this with a coping saw, a chisel, and a mallet. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot cleaner that way, but you could easily do it with a table saw and a flat bottom blade. I just feel like to set it up and make sure it was square every single time would be tough. Unless you were using a tenoning jig that slides along the fence of your table saw, that would be great too. This is the way I'm gonna choose to do it, but it's not the only way to do it. So let me show you how I clear this out and clean it up. Okay, so now that we've cleaned up and cut out all the pieces for our leg piece, it's time to lay out the half flaps and the mating pieces here. Now you want to make sure you orient your grain the way you want it to be and place it where you want it in that section of the mating piece. But all I'm going to do is place it up against, very carefully hold it in place, and take my marking knife and simply just mark up both sides. And then using my square, I'm going to carry those lines around the piece. So I have faint lines right here. And just like in the essential skills for accuracy in woodworking video I did, I'm going to slide my marking knife into that line. slide my square up to it, and just simply deepen it up. Now we know that because we want these pieces to fit, that when we cut these, we're going to need to take those lines to the very edge of the line to make sure that piece has a little bit of wiggle room to fit. So you kind of want to go over that line by, I don't know, a very, very small, minuscule amount. Just for posterity's sake, we'll check that, make sure it's all good. And it is. So now we need to set our depth. A good reason to have 2 marking gauges in the shop. We haven't changed our depth here. So I'm going to mark a 1/3 in here. Flip it around. Do the other side here. Just checking it, making sure that that's going to work. And it is. So then we can now continue our lines with our marking knife to that gauge line. So you can see that's going to be where all of this is going to be removed. And we're going to do that for both pieces of maple. Now that we have most of our mortises cut, we're going to start cleaning them up. Use your saw marks as a great gauge for cleaning it up with a chisel or a rabbeting block plane or a shoulder plane, and make sure you're testing as you go. So you want to make sure you know that glue is going to cause things to tighten up. So you want it to be sort of loose but not too loose. I mean, you want like just a hair's width worth of play in your joint. So you want to be checking this measurement here and making sure that's right, and then this measurement here. So right now mine doesn't fit yet. It fits into here, but it doesn't fit crossways yet. So we need to clean that up. I'm going to use my saw blade marks as my gauge. You can see here I've already cleaned off my saw blade marks, just barely gone like right to them. So that's what I'm going to start checking, because I know with my layout lines, I'm not even quite to it on this one yet, that's exactly where I need to be. So when I start getting really close, I'll know because my saw blade marks are gone. So I'm going to start working on those. Okay, so I can't stress this enough. This is the part of this joint where you really need to focus on all the details here. So what I like to do when I start to get it to fit, I start to feel whether each of the posts is proud or low of the surface. So here I can see that my B, the walnut, is a little low compared to the maple, whereas on my A side, it's dead even. But then if I go over here, I can feel that the walnut's proud here and low here, so I know that I need to take a little bit off this corner and off of this corner, and that's going to allow it to sit flush. So ideally, you want it to slide on without having to hit it with a hammer, but it should still be hard to push on, and all of these should be flush all the way around, and that's how you can really adjust and make sure this joint fits perfect. Because this is the critical part, and if you do this and take the time to get this right, you're going to be really, really happy when you put together your piece of furniture. Okay, so now that we have our pieces fit up, our mortises cut, it's time to do the half lap in between them. And so when you do this, make sure you give yourself some leeway. This is the point where 3 separate pieces are coming together that are maybe 1/128 off a little bit. So give yourself some room, because this joint is going to get locked in by these 4 posts. It doesn't need to be super tight, it just needs to accommodate the other one. And once you get glue in there, this thing won't go anywhere for 1,000 years. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in each one of my pieces, and I'm going to use my marking knife. I'm going to mark out the whole thing, just so I know. And I'm ensuring that I've marked all my pieces which way is up here. And I'm going to mark out each side. And then when I go to cut these out and do the half flaps, I'm going to ensure that I kind of take a lot of that line and make sure. So I'm going to put my other piece in there, mark that out, and then I'll do a little bit of layout and cut our half laps for this. So now we're going to do our final fit up before glue up, and when we finesse these joints in, one of the things you want to do here is chamfer the corners that you're never going to see, and that's going to really help things go together. Our inside joint here is plenty loose enough, but I just want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to snag up here when I get glue in the final joint. So I'm just going to chamfer all these corners where everything goes together. Everything that's going to be hidden, I'm going to take down the corners just like this, being careful not to chop your fingers off. And then we'll do that on our other piece here. One of the things when I just tried to test fit it together where I got a snag was just from this tear out here was binding everything up. So just make sure that you get everything put together, and let's head over to the bench and do a final fit up and glue this thing together. So I've gone ahead and thrown some lacquer on this, and man, did this come out really, really good. You know, I can find the mistakes, but really I don't think anybody really would be able to see them. It's beautiful. It was easy to put together. You can use this so many different ways, in cantilevered tables, in chair furniture, in timber framing. But this is a really cool joint that you should put in the old wallet, you know, bring out when you need it, because it's strong as can be. This will never break. I bet you could put 1,000 pounds on this sample piece, much less a table or chair you made. Guys, check me out on Instagram. If you're still watching, subscribe. I'm sure you enjoyed this video. Go to the store, get some shirts, get a dovetail jig, CNC alignment board. We got all kinds of great stuff over there. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe in the shop, guys, and have a wonderful day.